Hi, I'm G. Welcome to the Stuff You Should Think About podcast, where I answer everyday questions about phenomena and objects. Hey, how's it going? So, today I want to talk about bailouts, but like in a normal human language, not lawyer talk, not economist talk, just what does this actually mean talk? You know. All right, so a bailout is basically this: it's money or support that steps in at the last minute to stop someone or something from failing right now. The key part is that right now feeling. It's like if we don't do something today, this thing is going to crash. And usually it comes with conditions. It's not just here's some cash, good luck. It's more like here's help. And here are the rules that come with it. Let me put it to a regular loan and a gift. Just to keep it simple. A gift is easy. Your friend sends you $200 for your birthday. You don't have to pay it back. There aren't any rules, and the world is not going to fall apart if you don't get that money. It's just nice. A regular loan, that's like you going to the bank for a car. You fill out forms. You wait. You compare rates. You maybe even shop around. If they say no, it sucks. But life still kind of keeps moving. There's usually no emergency siren going off. A bailout feels different. A bailout is when someone says, look, if this person or this company or this bank goes down right now, it's going to hurt a lot of people. So we're going to step in fast. There's urgency. It's like when a friend calls you and says, if I don't pay this by tonight, I'm getting kicked out. That's bailout energy. Another big difference with a bailout, the person giving the help is usually trying to protect more than just the person in trouble. They might be trying to protect the whole system around them, like not just one business, but all the workers, the customers, maybe even other companies connected to it. And there's one more thing here. A bailout does not make the pain disappear. It just moves it. It's like your friend can't pay their rent, so you pay it. The landlord is fine now. Your friend is okay for the month, but the cost didn't vanish. It just slid over to you. That's how bailouts work on any level. The risk, the stress, the money. It gets shifted from the person or group that was about to fall into somebody else who agrees to carry it, at least for a while. So whenever you hear bailout, you can kind of ask yourself, okay, who was supposed to feel this pain? And who's actually feeling it right now? So, in plain English, bailout equals emergency help with conditions where the cost gets moved, not erased. That's the basic picture. In the next part, we'll zoom out and talk about what this looks like when governments and big companies get involved, because that's where it starts to feel really big, really fast. All right, let's talk big bailouts. The kind you hear about on the news with banks and huge companies and everybody arguing on TV. I'm going to keep it simple because it gets complicated fast if you let it. So imagine there's a big bank that's in trouble. If it fails, a lot of people might lose savings. Businesses might not be able to pay workers, and other banks could get dragged down too. The government looks at that and thinks, if this thing goes down, it could mess up the whole economy. So, what do? They step in with a bailout. That might be a big loan, or buying some of the bank's shares, or guaranteeing certain debts so people don't panic. Now, where does that money come from? Usually it's public money. Basically, taxpayers, either now or in the future, through government budgets and borrowing. And the government doesn't just hand it over and walk away. There are strings attached. They might say, you have to pay this back with interest over time. Or, we now own part of your company, so we get a share of any profit later. They can also say things like, you need new leadership, or you're not allowed to use this money for bonuses, or you have to follow new rules so this mess doesn't happen again. So a simple picture is the government uses public money to keep a big bank or company from collapsing. And in return, it tries to protect jobs, savings, and the wider economy. Plus, maybe get its money back with some extra down the road. Now, this is where people start arguing. One worry is something called moral hazard. That's a fancy way of saying if big players think they'll get rescued when things go bad, they might take bigger risks. Like, well, if it works, we can make a ton of money. If it blows up, maybe the government bails us out. You can see why that bugs people. There's also the fairness question. Taxpayers, regular people, might be covering the cost for mistakes made by rich investors, executives, or shareholders. Some folks feel like if I mess up my finances, nobody comes running with a bailout. Why do they get one? And then, what happens after matters a lot. If the bailout works, the company or bank stabilizes. People keep their jobs. The economy doesn't crash. And maybe the government gets repaid. Some folks will say, okay, that was worth it. If it fails, though, if the company still goes under or never really recovers, then it can feel like public money just disappeared into a black hole. So big bailouts are this mix of emergency help, public risk, and long-term bets. Somebody is always carrying that cost, even if you can't see it right away. And honestly, that's not so different from the small personal bailouts we deal with in our own lives, which is what I want to talk about next. Okay, let's bring this down to ground level. Like real life, regular people. Personal bailouts happen all the time. We just don't always use that word. Think about a family member paying off your credit card so you don't get sued, or a friend covering your rent so you're not evicted this month, or your lender saying, all right, instead of kicking you into default, we'll stretch your loan out longer, lower your monthly payment, and add some interest. All of that is bailout energy. It's someone stepping in so you don't slam into a wall right now. And just like with big bailouts, there are changes that come with it. New terms, new expectations. If your parents clear your debt, they might say, you're paying us back a little each month. Or, you got to cut up that credit card. A friend who pays your rent might not say anything out loud, but the vibe between you two might shift. You might feel guilty. They might feel stressed out about money now. With lenders, it's usually more formal. They might lower your payment but extend the time, so you pay more overall. Or they might add fees. On paper, it looks like relief, and it can be. But the cost usually just moves into the future. So, if we line up big bailouts and small ones side by side, they actually look kind of similar. Both are about urgency. If we don't fix this now, something bad happens. For a government, that bad thing might be a financial crisis. For you, it might be losing your home or your car. There's power in both stories, too. And big bailouts, the government and big companies are negotiating. Who gets saved? Who pays? What rules change? In personal bailouts, the power might be with the person who has the money, or the lender who can change your terms. That power can feel heavy. It can change how equal the relationship is. And then there's cost. With a government bailout, taxpayers are in the background, carrying the risk. With a personal bailout, it might be your mom dipping into her savings, or your friend taking money out of their emergency fund, or future you paying more interest because you stretched the loan. So, before saying yes to a bailout, giving one or taking one, it helps to slow down and ask a couple questions. 1, what problem does this actually solve right now? 2, where's the cost going to land? And for how long? And 3, what's this going to do to our relationship or my future choices? Bailouts can be lifesavers. They can also be traps if nobody thinks past the emergency. The pain doesn't vanish. It just moves. If you know who's really carrying it, you can make better decisions. Whether you're running a household or, running a country. All right. I'll leave it there for today. Thanks for hanging out with me, and we'll dig into more money stuff like this in another episode. Statements are based on current understanding and public information. This is not professional advice. If you need guidance that affects your health, safety, finances, or legal situation, talk to a qualified professional who can look at your specific circumstances. Thank you for tuning in to the Stuff You Should Think About. I'm G, and I'm out.